go back to your climbing. It's an interesting aspect about your choice of climbs is that even though you do, I mean, you mentioned this just a little bit before, apart from the sport climbing, there's always like this adventure aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you've taken sport climbing to a whole nother level. It's no more, you know, drive the car up to the cliff and you climb. I mean, is that an important part for you, the actual adventure, the getting to the climb?
Well, I think adventure is definitely part of it. You know, a lot of people consider sport climbing like not very adventurous type of climbing, but for me, whether it's bouldering, deep water soloing, sport climbing, or, you know, climbing a big wall or in the mountains, you know, it's all kind of tied together. And, you know, for me, the way I kind of access that feeling of adventure is going and finding new things, you know. So for me, it's really important, this process of exploration and finding new lines and kind of being creative, you know, and using my imagination to find new climbs and not just follow the path of other people and not just go to the same cliffs that other people have been, but, you know, to find something new. And you know, even though it's the rock has been there for, you know, millions of years, and you're not changing it in any way, you're still bringing to it an interaction between it and yourself, and it is a very creative process. So for me, that whole process is really like an adventure, an exploration, and the climb itself, like the the climbs that I'm looking for, like Jumbo Love, for example, that's a sport climb, but yeah, it's 80 meters long. It's like in the middle of the desert. You have to take a four-wheel drive road to get there, and it's not typical in any way. So I think it is interesting to try to blend these different styles together, you know, in the same way that I took kind of my experience from sport climbing and bouldering and trying to find something that was really difficult in the form of sickle block. Yeah. So always trying to take these different styles and kind of mix them together and create something new and kind of innovative and something that's fresh and inspiring. You know, but for me, it's really important just to, for my own personal motivation, is just to stay motivated and inspired by new things. You know, by seeing something in a new way from a different angle. Not, you know, I never am motivated just to repeat the same old thing. So maybe I'll do a long route like Jumbo Love, and then maybe I'll work on another short route that's maybe just 15 meters, or maybe I'll go to bouldering, or I've yet to really explore like long routes, but that's a whole nother, you know, can of worms. You know, so.
You'll probably get there. Speaking of choices in Jumbo Love, I mean, since it is in the middle of the desert, it takes like forever to get there. Was part of the reason, apart from the beauty of the climb and everything, making it more difficult for other climbers to get there so that they can repeat it?
Well, that definitely wasn't the part of it. I mean, because for me it was just as much of a pain in the ass. So yeah, for me it was a really interesting experience just to go out to this cliff, Clark Mountain, that had been developed by a guy, Randy Levitt, about 16 years ago.
But three.
And it's really far out in the middle of nowhere, and he had bolted this line that, you know, he bolted this line the year that I started climbing. And I went and checked it out about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And was totally inspired by it, and then started working on it. So it kind of took, you know, from when I started climbing, it took, you know, 15 years to kind of, you know, for me to get my act together, you know, to realize my potential, to be able to realize the potential of that route. And, you know, on another level, it was really inspiring for me to have a project in California. You know, all these years I've been doing hard routes in Spain or in France or in other parts of the world, and it really meant a lot to do a first ascent of this level and this level of quality in my home state. So it was really, you know, kind of coming full circle, and to be home and to establish something that's, you know, the hardest, best climb that I've ever done, you know, right in California.
Well, it's become like the benchmark also for that level of climbing. So,
I mean, it's like I think there's different types of evolution going on in climbing. There's the evolution of difficulty, and there's also the evolution of kind of aesthetics. You know, I mean, it's possible to have a really hard route that's really not very beautiful to look at or to climb on. And that doesn't interest me at all, you know. Yeah. I'm interested in finding something that's totally spectacular, and that's also at my limit. So trying to find these two things together is not very easy, you know. You can walk to any 10-meter piece of stone and find a 9B if you look for it, but to find one that's absolutely perfect and stunning and in a beautiful location is really special and hard to come across. So
it's part of the beauty of it.
Yeah. So when I found Jumbo Love, I was super inspired by it, and instantly just dedicated myself to that climb.
One last question, Chris. One of your trademarks when you climb is the yelling.
Oh, okay.
That's so cool. You're like the John McEnroe on the rock, man. Does that kind of pump you up?
Well, it's kind of funny because actually it all started from this guy Boone Speed.
Yes.
So he was kind
He's
of like
in your movie also.
Right? And he was kind of like one of my idols when I was a young kid. And I was always watch him climb, and he would always be screaming. And so I think I kind of tried to mimic him at first, and now it's just kind of the way I climb. I think it's maybe similar to like martial arts. When someone does a kick or a punch, it helps energize that movement, or emphasize it. So on certain really hard moves, I'll definitely throw out a little yell, to try to pull down that much harder.
I have a feeling we'll be hearing a lot of people copying you now, screaming on the rock and yelling. It was great talking to you, great meeting you, and good luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks, likewise.
Here. Okay.
Cool.
Chris Sharma.